This is Base 44, a no-code AI app builder built by a solo founder in just 6 months that got acquired by Wix for $80 million. Now you might ask, well, Frank, isn't this just like any other AI app builder out there? Well, there's a difference. Base 44 instantly connects to your backend without having to set it up manually to something like Supabase. And if this doesn't make much sense, let me show you how this works in a second. So here we are on their site. Let's make your dream a reality right now. Lets you build fully functional apps in minutes with just your words, no coding necessary. And we can see a few examples here on what we can build. And it's already been trusted by 400k plus users. So that's pretty good. And if you scroll down, you can create a speed of thought. And yeah, well, this is what I was discussing at the start of the video. The backend's built in automatically. So essentially everything your idea needs to function, like letting users sign in, authentication, saving the data in some storage, and creating role permissions. That's all taken care of in the background. So that's pretty important, and it just saves a lot of hassle. Ready to use instantly. And yeah, we see a lot of support, and the plan starts at $20 a month. And if you think that I'm just gonna explore Base 44 and just tell you about it, well, no, I'm actually gonna test it out, okay? And I'm gonna do that by building something I'm genuinely interested from scratch. So there's not gonna be a theoretical demo here. And rather than building a typical reporting dashboard or a networking app, I am going to build something a bit different, because if you know me, I love breaking stuff and pushing tools to its limits. And so in this case, I will be attempting to build a community platform like Skool with its main functionalities at least. So yeah, I'm sure we will be pushing Base 44 to its limits with this one. So yeah, let's get started and see where we get to. So I usually like to start the build with some sort of plan, and I recommend all of you to do the same. And so there's many different methods to do this, but I will keep things simple and prepare a PRD for this, which I will then feed directly onto the Base 44 text input. Oh, I'll also make sure to put it in auth, okay, to make a high quality PRD. So create a PRD that I will then paste onto Base 44, a no-code AI app builder. The app I want to build is a community platform like Skool. And now what I like to do is just to go to the actual platform that I perhaps want to get inspiration from and just take screenshots. So I'm going to take screenshots just to show how it looks like, and I will be going back onto ChatGPT. I'll be pasting some screenshots, and then I will just be guiding ChatGPT into understanding what the screenshots are about, right? All right, so now let's copy Classroom section over here. I have some drafts as well, but those will be for New Architects Pro. I'm gonna drag that across. I'm gonna perhaps also go over here and do like this. All right, so I added here the prompt to create the PRD. So as you see, it's pretty detailed, because the more detail that you add onto the PRD, the better results that you should get. And I added as well some images over here on how Skool looks like. So the more images you give it as well, the better. So it's going to be used as inspiration for the UI and UX. So both the images and the detailed prompt are really important to create a good PRD. So let's press enter and let's see what we get. All right, so here we have the PRD for the Community Hub MVP. Goal, ship a Skool level experience with only the must-have functionalities. And I think this is great, just only adding the must-have functionalities, because with AI coding agents, well, they all have LLMs working in the background, and these are limited by context. And the thing with this is that if you were to give it all of the functionalities that you want from start to finish, then it's gonna probably show all of them, but it's not gonna build them in depth, okay? It's not gonna build them complete. So what instead you should aim to do is ask it to build only the essential functionalities and add a lot of context around them, so that the functionalities that it builds them with enough depth and hopefully complete. Cool. So we have the purpose and vision, the success criteria, the personas and role, scope, the design requirements to make it look like Skool, functional requirements, non-functional requirements, and data model, which is very important for the database to link everything together, right? To link the front end with the back end. And then we got stuff like the milestones, which is not necessary, since this is usually better for human developers to understand, you know, by what time should they have developed certain features. But since we are giving it to no-code app builder, then, you know, it should be built in a couple of minutes. So actually we don't need these. And so kind of a point of advice for any PRD that you make sure that you specify that this PRD will be consumed by an AI coding agent. So just remember that. Actually, given that we don't need anything above 0.8, so we are going to copy everything between 0.1 and 0.7, including this, and we are going to go to base 44. So we're going to paste it over here. And if you see that the UI looks a bit different from the UI that I showed at the start, that's because I logged in. So if you haven't logged in, make sure you do that. And since I know some of you guys want to test it by logging in, I actually got the chance to ask base 44 to please give me a discount code, and they did. So I will leave that in the description below for all of you to use. One of the cool things of base 44 is that now it's acquired by Wix, and Wix is a website builder. So they do have a lot of experience building front ends. So I don't know if it was them or who was it, but there's these styling instructions over here that if we click, we see that we can essentially design. We have some prompts over here, some templates that allow us to, kind of template. So the styling instructions actually allow us to template the design. So we don't have to describe it from scratch, the text input, right? So I think this is pretty helpful. Perhaps what we can do is add the style instructions over here. So let's see what that does. Okay, just added it over here. And in addition to this, we see here that it added a prompt. We are going to grab more images from here, right? We did it already for ChatGPT 03, but we're going to send that again onto base 44 so that it has the most context possible, okay, on what we want to build. So we're gonna go ahead, copy that onto base 44, drag that across, uploading screenshot. We are going to also grab classroom section here, space that. About section would be great. So I think that's what we mentioned at the start anyways. And let's go and do a settings. There you go. Let's go back over here and let's paste that last one. Now that I think about it, I am going to remove this because it might screw up with the Skool design. Okay, so let's just remove that. So I think it's just a button that automatically adds a prompt. So I think this should do nothing. So yeah, let's just leave it like that. And yeah, let's ready to go. Let's allow base 44 to cook. All right, so it's gonna go through plan out over here, high level plan. It's setting up organization, design language. It's understanding what key features to implement as well. And well, we will let it cook for a few moments and then I will come back with what it has built. All right, so here is what it came with. So although the style doesn't look really much like the one from Skool, the important thing is that it has this structure, okay? So we have the name, we have the icons, we have the number of members here, how many are there online. Okay, these are just placeholder values anyway, so that doesn't really matter. And then we have the enter the community buttons, and we also have a description of the community. Then if you go down, we have another CTA as well below over here. So if we click enter community, we'll see what happens. And we are presented with the first page, I suppose, which is the community thread, right? And here we can filter by all, general discussion, questions, announcements, and showcase, which is pretty good. And yeah, so let's see if I want to write something. Okay, we are welcomed with this. So we're gonna have to fix the UI for this. So let's go ahead and screenshot that. And so what we're gonna do is fix the posting functionality. So let's paste that over there. And we're just gonna say, when I want to post, by clicking the write something element, I get presented with this. The UI looks off. Can you please change the colors to light and make it match the rest of the UI styling? Also, make sure that the posting functionality works. Cool. So I'm gonna press enter and we're gonna see what it comes up with. All right, so it says fix create post model UI. So I guess it's working on this right now. And okay, we should refresh and let's see what we can do now. All right, cool. So now we have a title and we can choose if we want to post on general discussion, questions, announcements, and showcase. Okay, that was honestly like a quick fix. I didn't expect it to just fix it like that easily, because apart from fixing the background, from dark to white, it also has to understand, okay, well, I have to fix probably the other stuff. Okay, so this is a separate background color that it has to fix as well. And, making sure that this works as well. So the general discussion, this drop down, to make sure that this drop down works. So that's an important thing as well. So if we go to, let's say questions, actually, let's go to announcements. Let's say I launched my app. Here's what you should know, right? And it's cool because it knows that I need to attach an image. Okay, I'll leave it as it is right now, but you could imagine you can attach an image. And we're gonna hit post. And if we hit post, we should see this over here. Okay, so we see that I launched my app and here what you should know. Pretty cool. Let's see if the liking thing works. It doesn't. Okay, it doesn't either. And we can't share. So the actual buttons here don't work. So let's go ahead and fix that. So I'm just going to prompt base 44 again. Oh, you also see that it added placeholder values as well. These numbers are linked to a database in the back. So I'll show you that in a second. But essentially, I'm going to take a screenshot I'm gonna pass it through. I think screenshots are really important, really valuable to add. So I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna go to the community section, and I'm just gonna grab as much information as possible from, you know, how it looks like to click on it. So I click on it and then I see this. So this is exactly what I want to grab from. So I will call it that. Bring it back out to base 44, paste it. And now we kind of have how it looks over here in the app. So it has an understanding on what exactly I want to change and kind of the final result, right? Which is how it looks like currently on Skool. Okay, so we are going to type in something like, let's work on the functionality to be able to like and reply to a post. I want it so that when I click a post, a pop-up window appears similar to the second screenshot, and be able to reply to the post, and then the post appears below. I should be able to also like the post from here. Okay, so let's go ahead and press enter and let's see what it comes up with. All right, so it added a comprehensive like and reply functionality with a detailed thread model that matches the Skool interface. So now we can like posts and comments and reply to threads and see real-time updates. Okay, let's have a look at that. Okay, so it says now it's implementing it onto the app. So let's see how that looks. All right, so now you should be able to like it, and if I click comment, I get presented with this, which is pretty nice. So we see the original post, and then we are able to reply. So let's say, hi, I am Frank. Let's reply with that, and we see that we get a reply. Pretty cool. And we can also like that. Amazing. And can we reply to that? Okay, that functionality is not there yet, but you could add it if you want. Just imagine that you can. It's just a matter of just literally just prompting base 44, and then you get that, and then you get the feature straight away. So yeah. So let's go back over here, and yeah, so we're able to like posts now, we're able to reply to them. That's pretty good. I think now would be great to try create a course. So right now what we got so far is that we're able to create a post, okay, and we're able to reply to it as well. So I think those are two pillar functionalities for a community platform, right? And then obviously the little functionalities, you can make a list of which ones you want to add and then pass it on to base 44. I do like working like that. I like working feature by feature, because if you give everything at the start, I don't think it's going to do a great job, at least from my experience. They're not exactly base 44, but with most AI agent builders or AI coding agents, but yeah, with most AI app builders, this tends to happen as well. If you give it all the context and you expect it to build the app within the first pass, it's unlikely going to happen. So you see what I'm trying to do here. My approach is build kind of the main functionalities, just build as much as possible, but don't build too many features, right? Just build very little features, but well. And then what we do is look at each feature, and then we see what's missing, and then we kind of build on top of it. Okay, so that's how, in my opinion, you build a more robust application if you're letting the AI do it. So now that we have those, then I think it will be great now to, as I mentioned, to go to the classroom. So let's go ahead to the classroom, and now if I click start course, there's probably nothing there. That makes sense. So now we just need to implement it. Okay, so we are going to implement the functionality to create a course. Go to the classroom section now, and yeah, this is what we want. So once again, just gonna screenshot that. It always helps. I'm gonna go to Skool. I am just gonna use it as inspiration as well. So I'm going to the classroom over here, and let's just describe the action that I get when I click one of them. So for any of them blueprints, for example, if I click, then I'm presented with this. So I'm just gonna pass this, pass it on to base 44. And what else do we do? Okay, so now I should be able to click that one. It's good to really describe every step that you do. This is called the user experience, right? So you got the UI, how it looks, but then you got the UX, the user experience, which is how is the user using the app, right? So when I click here, where does it go? And all of that stuff. I mean, that's a small part of the user experience, but I guess that's how I'm trying to differentiate for UX and UI. But anyways, now I'm gonna just hover over this, right? Now I should detect that on the second screenshot, I actually hovered over the pencil icon. And now once I click it, I'm going to screenshot this again, like that. By the way, making an app is not as easy as just saying, build me Uber for dogs, okay? If you want to build a proper app, you're going to do it the way that I'm teaching you right now, right? Okay, so maybe let's let's click it so that it knows that that's a piece of text that we can write on top on. And yeah, so now let's say, now let's implement course creation functionality. So once I click a course, the sections and lessons should appear as shown in the screenshots. Now I can go onto a specific lesson and then click the pencil icon, also shown in one of the screenshots. Once that happens, then you can see that an editor opens up where you can upload files, a video, and well, the video is optional, right? And upload and attach files, a video, optional, and add a title, and then also save it. So let's press enter and let's see what it comes up with. Right, so I finished editing the course page, editing the lesson view component, the lesson editor component as well. And it's created a complete course navigation system with collapsible sections, lesson viewing, and a rich lesson editor that matches the Skool interface. Okay, let's see if that's true. So it says some errors were detected and base 44 will try to fix them automatically. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but those are the two types of error fixing that are available right now with AI app builders, right? So you have the first one, which the errors get detected once the language model generates the code. That's what most AI app builders has. But the second one, which base 44 has, which is pretty intriguing, the one that happens when I actually test stuff on the app. So when I click stuff and let's say the liking functionality doesn't work, let's say I can keep liking it and the number of likes keeps going up and up and up, the AI actually, or base 44, can actually detect that and know it's an error, and then it's going to go ahead and fix it. So that's kind of a more of a reactive error fixing, which I find pretty interesting and pretty useful, especially for non-technical people. But anyways, now we have the course functionalities already set up. So now if I click start course, let's see what we get. Cool. So look at this. So you have collapsible sections as well. Pretty cool. And if I click this first one, we see that we have some text and we can mark it as complete. Okay, if we mark it as complete, let's see what happens. Let's complete it, and then we get a tick here. I actually didn't ask for that, but I think it's a great addition to add on top. And let's see what this is. Okay, so this is a YouTube link, which is great. And we have some text here that we can change. But in order to do that, we should go onto the pen icon over here, and we see that it opens an editor. Pretty cool. So we can change the lesson title, and we can add a video URL, and we can just put this over here. So let's say, let's build XYZ, and let's go like that and do like that. Okay, let's see how the add files functionality works. Can we add video outline, for example, or let's, for example, set that. Oh, okay. So I was able to upload it. Pretty cool. And let's hit save, and there you go. So obviously this can be fixed a bit, but you get the whole point. The only problem here is that it doesn't render properly. So okay, let's say that actually fix it now. Make it render properly as a title. We want a title section and also a description section. The title should be larger than the description. The description is where the actual lesson text will be added. Cool. Okay, so apparently fix the lesson view to correctly render the formatted text from the editor. So the content will now appear styled as intended. Let's have a look at that. All right, so we reloaded now. So now if I click start course, if I go to lesson title test, there you go. So now it's rendering properly. So now if I change this, for example, and if I go and say, well, okay, instead of that, and italics, I'm just gonna do an underline, gonna hit save, and there you go. Cool. So now we don't have the other weird formatting around it. We only have the, what we wanna show. So that's really good. Okay, so now let's say I want to add my own videos over here. Let's say I wanna add a YouTube video. It looks like we are adding it using an embed method over here. So, and this seems to be the video ID. So perhaps what we could do, I mean, this could be changed, obviously. There's other ways of sharing a YouTube video. By the way, I'm not sponsored by GoDaddy. You see here that we have an ID associated to this video. So I'm just gonna go ahead and grab that and paste it over here. Hopefully we get the right video, but we'll see. There you go. So that's my video actually. So let's see if that plays properly. There you go. So now you can have your videos if they are hosted on YouTube. We can have our lesson content, and we can add our resource files as well, as you saw before. So let me add that. Yeah, can add a title, and we can actually add more content. So in this lesson, we will go through, let's change this to a heading. Cool. And then we can X, Y, and Z, blah, 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 blah. And let's say we can do this in italics, and this we leave the same. we hit save now, we see that we don't have the weird scripting on the sides. The heading doesn't work, but I'm not going to cover that. You know, all that you need to do is just go onto the prompting section, just prompt base44. So I'm not going to cover that little thing. You see that we covered now the course creation. So now we can go ahead and create a course. Go ahead, click, switch between sections and courses. Okay, actually let's go into this one. We can create sections and courses over here. They're collapsible as well. Maybe something that we forgot was to actually add any course, any sections or lessons from scratch. So let's give the user the ability to actually add section and a lesson from scratch if there is nothing in the course. Because I think by default, the first course actually came with some structure, already came with existing sections and lessons, but we don't have a button to create them if there's nothing here, or to create more actually. We don't have any option for that. So let's go ahead and add that functionality. All right, so let's go ahead and add and see what it did. So now I should be able to add, cool. Okay, so look, so it actually added them in the right areas as well. So add a lesson and add a section over here. This seems to be a recurring theme. So let's say section 3, create a section 3, and then inside this section, I can create a new lesson. Pretty cool. So lesson in section 3. I should add youtube.com/embed or something. https www.youtube.com embed, and then the code of the video. Guess it was like that. Blah, 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 title. I think this actually doesn't work, but that's fine. Blah, 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 and then add course outline. Cool. So now if we hit save, right, we see that we have our lesson in section 3 with the title and a description and resource and video. All right, so far we've done a lot, to be honest. We have built the two main features of a community platform. So the first one is everything regarding posting. So we can create a post now, right, which is really nice. I love the transition, how it opens up titles, attach images and so on. We can also like the posts. We can also reply to the post as well. And mind you that this is actually a pretty complex feature. The fact that we can open this and we can reply to it. And the fact that it also retains everything within the database is a big plus, because usually with these apps, the information is retained on the browser on the run. And if you were to, let's say, reload this and then click again, you won't see these. But the fact that base44 already integrates the app with the database just makes everything nicer, because then once you come back to any of the features, you're still going to see the data there. So it's really powerful. And I'm going to show you the database now. So if you go to the dashboard, this is one of the main reasons I like base44 so much, is because of the database that they've integrated here and also the users. Okay, so we have these tables that resemble those from Supabase, but instead of having to connect externally to Supabase, it's just all here. And the AI agent that builds the code for you to build the app has access to these directly. So not only the users, but most importantly, all the information that is rendered on the screen. So the number of likes, the posts, you see everything here. And this is not stored in Supabase, which honestly, it can be a bit of a hassle. So honestly, for prototyping and building MVPs with this, and even taking this to production, since we have the tables already here, I would say it's a pretty good bet. So we have the lessons here, we have the progress, we don't have anything here. The number of likes. Well, the number of likes I think is stored somewhere else. Don't know where, but yeah, you see that this is pretty good. We also have analytics as well. So the top page is most visited by people in your app. So, what are the pages that get visited the most? And obviously we have nothing because I'm the user. So the information is skewed. I'm the only user. But you can see how also this is pretty important as well. The way you do tracking at the moment is with external applications. There's no one single AI app builder that has data and analytics integrated like this. So I'm actually pretty impressed that they perhaps listen to the audience maybe, but more importantly, they nailed it. Okay, they nailed these features, the data and the analytics features, adding the tables and integrating it directly to the app. I think is a killer feature to have for an AI app builder. We can also connect the domains directly. It's really good. We can also do some app security, really good as well. They pretty much thought about everything, in my opinion. Everything that a non-technical person will not think about when building an app, especially with AI. We can also do AI API integrations made easy, okay. So this is a very interesting way that I see here to connect to APIs. Yeah, this is the good way of thinking about things. So they understood that APIs are integral, or they are very important for adding extra functionality. So instead of adding it in the rest of the code, they made it a special section with it. So kudos to them. And we can also change the logo, the app settings, and add authentication. So I don't know if you saw authentication. I'll show you now really quickly. So we're here in the dashboard, and what I mean is if you go on the top right here, you see your user, and you have the option to sign out. And if you do, then as a user that is not inside the community, then you should see something like this. And this is pretty good, because allowing someone to sign with Google just removes the hassle to have to add an email or password, which is obviously important to have, but the fact that you can authenticate directly with Google, I say pretty convenient. They have everything essentially. So this, and also an API module like this, and also analytics, and most importantly, the database already embedded all in one single place, plus the AI app builder, I think yeah, I do think this is a killer product if they keep working on this. Well, already, but if they keep working on this, this is gonna be a pretty good place for non-technical people to build their apps to production. So yeah, all right, I will end the video here because otherwise I could spend all day in the platform. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will leave the link and a coupon code on the description so you can have special access to Base 44. If you didn't like the video for some reason, please let me know down in the comments. And if you did, please subscribe and give me a like, okay? It helps a lot. But yeah, thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next one.